Doing it back here again for our video, and this is going to be my final October Horror Fest 2018 video where I talk about all the horror movies I've watched this past week as well as the movies that I've watched this weekend, and I'm also going to be talking about the movies that I plan to watch on Halloween. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The first movie I'm going to talk about is the film that I did a review of, and I talked about this movie every year. I watch it every year. It's one of my favorite family-friendly Halloween themed movies, and that is When Good Ghouls Go Bad. I absolutely love this movie. I actually just finished watching it just a few hours ago, and I absolutely love this film. If you guys want to hear me talk more about it, I've talked about it multiple times on my channel, but that is a great family-friendly movie, and it's another movie I wish would get re-released because it is out of print. The DVD is out of print, and it's pretty expensive. The VHS isn't so much, but I know more people want the DVD. I will say this though, and I don't normally condone people watching movies for free on YouTube, only if it's a movie that's kind of hard to find. If it's a movie that's a bit expensive and people just don't want to spend the money for it. I mean, it's a great movie, so I would say, you can watch this on YouTube. So if you want to, you can just look it up and you can watch the entire movie. There's another movie on here. Another movie that I'm going to talk about in this video that you can also watch on YouTube as well. But if you can find a physical copy, I'd recommend picking it up because this is a great family-friendly Halloween movie. It's got Christopher Lloyd in it, and he's great in this. So yeah, like I said, if you guys want to hear me talk more about it, I've done a review of it, and I've talked about it multiple times on my channel. Now, next movie I want to talk about is another movie that I've talked about so many times, one of my all-time favorite horror movies, Sleepy Hollow. Now, this was the first Johnny Depp movie I ever saw, and it was also the first movie that I ever saw directed by Tim Burton. This is an amazing movie. This movie has such amazing atmosphere, October atmosphere. Some scene, a few scenes that take place close to Halloween, and this movie is just amazing. I think this is definitely one of my 10 favorite horror films of all time. I'm not going to talk so much about that because I know a lot of people have seen it, but if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci, just an amazing movie. Next movie I want to talk about is a movie that I plan on watching in about an hour or so. Trick or Treat. This movie has become a new favorite of mine. Just a really, really amazing horror anthology. I have not seen the older film Trick or Treat because it's out of print. I want to say you might be able to watch it on YouTube, but I'm not really sure. So I haven't seen that one, but I absolutely love this. I love all three of the stories, and this movie just truly captures Halloween. It truly captures the Halloween feeling for me, and it's just an all-around amazing film. Now here's another movie that has been out of print for years, and I wish somebody, Scream Factory, Arrow, somebody, please release this movie on Blu-ray. The Midnight Hour. Talked about this movie so many times. It's one of my all-time favorites. Yeah, this is just a bootleg DVD. The actual DVD is super rare and expensive online. I think I saw one copy, like an official DVD release, going for like $300 or something on eBay, which is ridiculous. I do have 2 VHS copies of it as well, which I'm happy to have it. But this is just a bootleg. I have watched a little bit of it, and it's actually pretty good quality for the most part. But I will say though, just like When Good Ghouls Go Bad, this movie is also available to watch on YouTube. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money on the VHS, or if you don't want to, spend $300 on the DVD is what I've seen it for, which I think is ridiculous. If you don't want to do that, you can watch it on YouTube. But I do really, really wish Scream Factory. I think that Scream Factory would they could make an amazing release of it, or Arrow Video, or anybody, Kino, just whoever, just please release the Midnight Hour. It's every single time I see people talk about movies that they wish would get released on Blu-ray, that movie is always on there. Please, please, horror fans, we are begging for it. Midnight Hour, Blu-ray, please. And anyway, guys, finally, the last movies I'm going to be watching this year is, of course, the last 5 Halloween films. Now, I've already watched Halloween 5. And I must say, I always talk about this movie, and every time I talk about it, I always say it's one of my least favorites. But actually, I enjoyed it a lot more watching it recently than I have. I think I don't know why. I think it's got great atmosphere. Michael is really vicious in this one. He's actually a lot more he's a lot more threatening, I think, in this one than in some of the previous. Like I think Halloween 4, he is as well, but in this one, he's just pretty brutal. Like stabbing the guy with the pitchfork, and he hangs one of the police officers out the window. Never been a fan of The Mask, but I will say, I think it's okay. I'm not a fan of Tina though. I know a lot of people see Tina as like a comic relief in it. I thought she was annoying, and I really wish that they would have killed her off at the beginning of the movie, and then let Rachel live, and then kill Rachel off when Tina let Rachel live until the time when Tina dies and have her die then, Because when Tina dies, it's kind of like a climactic moment, Because that sort of like signals the point where, Jamie has nobody anymore, The only person that she has now is Dr. Loomis, and everyone else that she knows and loves has pretty much been taken away from her. So I understand why that scene is climactic, but I feel like that it would have been a lot better if it was Rachel. If Rachel had lived on until that moment, the moment when Tina dies, have Rachel die, and then have Tina die when Rachel died at the beginning, because I've always loved Rachel's character. And I've just never been a fan of Tina. I've always found her to be annoying. But overall, I enjoyed it a lot more than I have. I mean, Halloween 5, I always talk about it being one of my least favorites. I still don't think it's a great movie, but I enjoyed it a lot more now than I have in the past. And now these last 4, I will be watching probably the night before and the day of Halloween, because I do plan on watching movies on Halloween, but I do plan on watching Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, probably the night before, probably on October 30th. Always been one of my favorite films in the franchise. Always been. Love the poster. I love the atmosphere. Like I said, I really like Rachel's character. This is, of course, the beginning of Jamie Lloyd. Her character is introduced, and I just think that this is still one of my favorites, and I think one of the best films in the Halloween franchise. And the last 3 movies I plan on watching, and I do plan on watching these on Halloween, are, of course, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Halloween 2, one of the greatest horror sequels of all time, and, of course, When Everything's Done, because what I like to do on Halloween, which I've talked about before, I like to get in my zombie outfit. I like to walk outside, stand in front of my house, and pretend that I'm like a statue or something, or a mannequin, and then when kids get close to me, I scare them. Well, once that's all over, I will be watching Halloween, and I do this every year. I always end Halloween with watching Halloween, and this will be the last movie that I watch, and the last movie that I watch before I go to bed. It's a classic. It's timeless. And that is all the last movies I plan on watching this October. I'm not sure why I flipped these DVDs around and showed off the bag, but anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Since I've been working a lot, 10 hours a day, I really was unable to watch as many movies as I hoped. I was hoping I was going to be able to watch some movies that I had never seen before this year. And there were a lot of other movies that I really enjoyed watching around October that I was hoping I'd be able to watch. But unfortunately, just since I've been working so much, I just don't have the time. I am glad I was able to watch all the movies that I have watched, and I do still plan on, like I said, I do plan on watching the first 4 Halloween movies leading up to Halloween. So I am happy I'm able to watch those. I just wish that I could have been able to watch more. I think every horror fan wishes they had time to watch more. I know some horror fans, they do the 31 Days of Halloween, and like I said at the beginning of these videos, I just don't know if I would have time for it. Watching, because sometimes when I get home from work, I don't feel like watching a movie. But I am glad with the movies I was able to watch, and I am looking forward to ending my October off with, of course, watching the first 4 Halloweens, as well as Trick or Treat and The Midnight Hour. Those are the movies that I plan on watching. Plan on watching the Trick or Treat next, and then after that, The Midnight Hour, and then finishing off with the Halloween films. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I do plan on posting one more video this October, and that video will be up on Halloween. So I won't say Happy Halloween now, but I will say it, when I post that video. I plan on doing a video just showing off all of our Halloween decorations and our pumpkins for this year. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, if you guys want to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or join my movie collecting Facebook group, links will be down below in the description box below. Let me know what you guys think about all the movies I talked about, and I'll see you guys in the next video.